Ready? Alright, I'm Specialist Furrow here at the Camp Walker PMO. I'm one of the traffic investigators upstairs. Today we're going to be talking about drunk driving, okay? Basically, drunk driving is unsafe and it is selfish. The majority of traffic accidents today actually basically involve drunk driving. Police officers are on the road 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to protect us and make sure that we are aware of drunk driving, and they also go out and try to find them as well. Some of the questions that I'm going to answer today that you guys might be wondering is, how do police determine DUIs? How do they catch drunk drivers? What is drunk driving, and how can it affect people? As said by NHTSA in 2010, people killed in alcohol-impaired driving crashes accounted for nearly 31% of all traffic-related deaths. Alright? Moving on, what we're basically going to talk about today is what drunk driving is, what BAC is, and how it is found. And we're going to go over a quick quote from a suspect of the DUI case. What is drunk driving? Alright, so basically, as you see here, the picture shows two vehicles. Alright, accident, probably was a drunk driver, okay? Drunk driving is in operating a watercraft or vehicle under the influence. Driving under the influence is a criminal charge. Alright, it is a misdemeanor for a first-time offense. A misdemeanor is basically anything from $10,000 to spending a year in jail, but it is less than a felony charge, so that's a plus, but it's still not good. Depending on how severe the police do go out and get you, it could be a felony charge, depending on something that Buddy T actually mentioned in one of his articles online. This has to do, if you get into a DUI traffic accident involving bodily harm, driving while license suspended, elevated BAC, driving with children in the vehicle, or prior convictions of DUIs. All those could actually switch your misdemeanor to a felony charge, so you have to be careful. Altogether, I would just not drink and drive, right? A felony charge is actually more serious, and it could be the change of you going to a state jail to a federal jail, all right, and that's way worse. What is BAC? So basically, Business Dictionary states that BAC basically stands for blood alcohol content. It is considered to be the amount of alcohol inside your bloodstream. This indicates whether or not a person is legally intoxicated, okay? So right here, basically, we see a little chart. It shows male and female. Basically, it shows the weight of what you are. You can kind of tell after a few drinks where you stand. So that was kind of interesting that I kind of showed here. Basically, this is what the breathalyzer is. All right, it kind of shows what the BAC level is. If we turn this on right here, do the breath test. So this is going to be test number 14. It tells you what test it is. Install new mouthpiece. So you're going to install the mouthpiece, right? So blank check. You're going to test it first. Passed. And please blow. BAC 0.000. So it tells you I haven't been drinking, so I'm good to go. I get to go home tonight, right? So different countries do have different BAC levels. Here in Korea, BAC level is 0.03. In the States, most of the states, if not all of them, is 0.08. If you could catch a felony charge if your BAC level is over 0.12. So really just stay away from the drinking and driving. I have one of my experiences when I was at Fort Hood with a drunk driver. I saw him. He was in a white Toyota Tacoma. I pulled him over for speeding. When I got up to the vehicle, I noticed that he had bloodshot eyes and slurred speech. So I brought him out of the vehicle. I did SFSTs, which is standard field sobriety tests. It consists of the walk and turn, one-legged stand, and the horizontal gaze. He did actually pass those. So the thing was, he had indications of drunk driving, but he passed the test. So I asked him if he could do a breathalyzer test, in which he blew a 0.04%. This being said, I knew he wasn't drunk, and I knew he lives right around the corner, so I brought him home that night, and I was like, hey, keep your car here, brought him home, and I told him the importance of drinking and driving, and that if he was 0.08, he could have caught a charge that night, and he probably could have killed someone. Moving on, this is the importance of why drunk driving is so important to us. It's not just them, it's us too. So we want to make sure no one's drinking and driving. Global News posted an article of drunk driving in which Mr. Olson speaks out. Mr. Olson decided that he was going to drive one night because he figured the roads were, there was no cars on the roads, and he couldn't find a taxi to find his way home. So this is what he has to say after that night. I'm sorry for what I've done to the Howell family and for all the pain and suffering I've put them through. He continues, it's hard at times to live with what I've done. I made this selfish decision and I need to live with it for the rest of my life, and I will. So this is what Olson said after he actually killed someone while he was drinking and driving. Here's the quote. So basically, drinking and driving under the influence while operating a motor vehicle is wrong. Okay? Make sure you don't go over the limit. Make sure you just don't drink and drive. Alright? Please use breathalyzers to determine the BAC level. Alright? That's what we showed you here. The effects of drunk driving is probably not good. Alright, so don't put yourself in that position. As I previously mentioned, in 2010, people killed in alcohol impaired driving crashes encountered nearly 31% of all traffic accident deaths. 3 things to remember from this speech that I want you guys to remember is the awareness and understanding of drunk driving, the charges that could be involved within drunk driving, and the effects of driving under the influence, as we noted in that quote. So these are the 3 things that I want you to take away from this speech. Basically, within this speech, this whole time that I've been talking, every day almost 30 people in the United States die in drunk driving crashes. That's 1 person every 48 minutes in 2017.